I really want, oh no, no, shoot, Addie's falling, oh my god. Hello my little queens, my name is Teddy and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. I really wanted to film in this spot because there was like really pretty light, like being casted on this spot, but now there's nothing, so I'm just gonna set up my ring light. Hold on. Alright y'all, so apologies for my disgusting appearance today. Disgusting! But we all have those days. Welcome to my tutorial for how to dye your American Girl doll. This is something that has been so highly requested after I have dyed 2 dolls before, and everyone was like, Teddy, how did you do it? And I was like, tutorial coming soon, queens. That tongue click was so good. Can we replay that, please? And this is that tutorial. So in this video, I'll be making this doll, Lolita. Before I get any questions on her name, she is named after the Japanese street fashion, which is, I love it. I love it so much. So this is Lolita. As you can see, I dyed her to be very dark, and yes, that was purposeful. I redid her face. She did get some eyeliner and some lipstick. She also has gray eyes and this black wig with bangs. So without further ado, the highly requested how to dye an American Girl doll. Hello and welcome to the voiceover. I see no need to stall, so the first step, and quick disclaimer time, this is just a video explaining to you how I dye my American Girl dolls. Please craft at your own risk, and remember, it's not my fault if you ruin your doll or get hurt. It's your responsibility to know what your skills are. If you're a very small child, and I know a lot of small children watch my videos, please, please, please ask your parents before you do any of this. I don't need any angry adults in my DMs. I have quite enough of those already. Remember guys, stay safe. Dyeing a doll is to completely disassemble your doll. One does this by removing their doll's head and taking out all of the stuffing. Then find the elastic that connects your doll's limbs to the doll's cloth and cut that. The limb will then detach from the cloth, and there you go. Repeat this for all 4 limbs until you have everything separated. Then remove the neck string or zip tie from the back of the doll's head and remove the eyes. I don't really want to explain how to eye swap in this video, seeing as there are hundreds of tutorials on how to do that already. So I'll link my absolute favorite in the description. Now you have to heat up your doll's limbs with a hairdryer and reach inside using pliers or your fingers, if your fingers are VV skinny, and remove the white tension cup. These are the tension cups. Now set aside your tension cups, stuffing, and your neck string. Now we're actually going to dye the doll. The dye you have to use for dyeing a doll is Rit Dye More. Yes, you have to use Rit Dye More. If you don't use Rit Dye More, nothing will happen. I've gotten many DMs from people saying, "Oh, Teddy, I tried to dye my doll and it didn't work." And I'll be like, "Oh, send me a picture of the dye you used." And then this is the picture I receive. Regular Rit fabric dye doesn't work, hunty. You have to use Rit Dye More. I'll leave a link in the description. Anyways, so you'll need to boil a huge pot of water. And when I say huge, I mean huge. Also, please don't use a nice pot because you won't be able to eat out of this pot after you dye in it. While my water is boiling, I'll show you what you need. An apron, just for fun really. Some rubber gloves. These are so that you can grab the doll's limbs without burning yourself. But if you really want to be safe, just use tongs to grab the limbs out of the dye. You need a towel to place the limbs on after you've dyed them. Use a cheap rag, please, because sometimes dye spills out of the limbs and stains the towel. Alright, time to dye your doll. Keep the flame under the pot going for the whole dyeing process so that the water stays boiling. Pour about half of the dye in the bottle into the water once it's boiling. Then carefully put your first limb into the dye. The first limb is always the hardest. Make sure to regularly check on this limb to see when you get the color you want. Mine typically take about 1 minute in the dye. Once you have the color you want, take the limb out of the dye using your tongs. And if you're going to take it out with your gloves, then please be careful. When I do this, I never actually touch the dye, just the limb. But when the limb comes out of the dye, it can still be hot enough to burn you. Now, pour all the dye out from inside of the limb, and you've dyed your first limb. Now repeat for all of the other limbs and try to keep them in the dye for the same amount of time as the first limb. I'll typically start with the legs because I figure that they're seen the least, so it's okay if they're slightly different than the rest of them. I try to color match all of the limbs now to the leg. So I do the arms, cloth body, and then last I do the head. Now it's time to do what my friend Kenny likes to call cleaning your doll like a dirty dish, which is actually essentially what it is. Now get another pot filled with soapy water. Get the brush that you use to wash your dishes and fill your brush with soap. Now scrub your doll's limbs. As for the cloth, I just clean it with my hands kind of like this. I'll just show it in the video. I don't know how to explain. I rinse everything with water and set it outside to dry overnight. If you don't feel comfortable with that, then you can let them dry inside. But I do prefer outside because it airs everything out and gets rid of a lot of that super strong soapy smell, which is nice, but not when it's that strong. Once your limbs are 100% dry, and yes, make sure that they're 100% dry to avoid mildew, it's time to reassemble your doll. There are plenty of restringing tutorials on YouTube, and I actually have one which is playing on screen right now, and I'll link it in the description. It's a little tricky to get the neck string back in, but with a very, very small safety pin and a lot of patience, you'll be able to do it. Put the eyes back in the head, and now comes my least favorite part, the face. When you dye a doll, their previous face paint essentially becomes non-existent, so you'll have to repaint their faces. Also, you'll need to do their eyelids to match their new skin tone. Crafsador has some great tutorials for these, which I'll link below. Now, just attach your doll's wig, and you're done. And I'm back. Alright everyone, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do end up dyeing your doll using this tutorial, please tag me on Instagram because I would love to see what you guys make. If you didn't know already, my Instagram is @smalldolls, the same way it is spelled here. I'll put it up on the screen right there. Whoa, look at that pop-up. I am so professional. Also guys, if this is your first time on my channel, make sure that you subscribe because we have a lot of fun here with the Boca Squad, the Little Queens, the Small Sisters. I don't know, we've had a lot of names. But yeah, make sure you subscribe and stick around. It's fun. Anyways guys, I'm gonna head out now. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Ciao!